Hello, hello. Welcome back to episode 7 of our podcast. I'm Nilza,
And I'm Emma.
and this is
Unnies,
BL,
talk.
a BL podcast. Through this podcast, we'll share all of our thoughts on everything and anything BL related, share our unpopular opinions, comment on your unpopular opinions, and everything in between. So, for today's episode, we'll be focusing on a very special drama that ended recently, sadly, and that drama is none other than Not Me. So a drama that's been going on for over 2 months now, or a month, lost track of time, on GMM TV's YouTube channel every Sunday,
Sunday.
every Sunday.
Sunday.
Yes, and now our Sundays are kind of empty. Actually, technically not yet because I'm still watching a few others. But yeah, anyhow, it ended this last week. So for today's episode, we're just going through the drama, digest it a bit, share our thoughts, expectations, were they met, and so on. Okay, so
So,
if you've been living under a rock or you just been too busy or you don't have patience to wait every week for a new episode, because
oh,
let's be
bless.
honest, it was a struggle. So we'll just read out the synopsis quickly. This is the synopsis from my drama list. So, Black and White are twins with a powerful connection. After their parents' separation, though, White's father took him out of the country. Their family effectively severed in two. It isn't until 15 years past that White, now grown, returns to Thailand. One day, seemingly from nowhere, White feels an agony like death. He recovers in the hospital, but they're unable to determine the cause. Then he picks up a call from a childhood friend, Todd. Todd tells him that Black is in a coma following a vicious attack, and he learns that Black is in a motorcycle gang. Unable to endure the harm done to his brother in silence and suspecting it was one of Black's closest friends, Sean Graham or York, who betrayed him, White disguises himself as Black to root out the traitor. But White doesn't know his brother as well as he thought. He's not behaving like the Black Sean knows, distrustful and uncaring about the feelings of others. Sean's suspicious, the rest of the gang's suspicious. The difference gets under Sean's skin and makes him feel things he shouldn't. So that's it. That's basically kind of like a very high level summary of this drama plot. Emma, let's start. So what do you think? Like now that it's all over, your thoughts. Just let it all out.
I'm gonna try and do this in a generalized way because I know this could end up being an essay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could talk about it for hours. So I'm gonna try and keep it very, very short and condense it down as much as possible. So my thoughts on the drama is that I would say it's not what you would expect out of a BL drama. It's the complete. I would not say the complete opposite. It's just not what you'd expect. It's not fluffy. It's not cute. Well, it has its cuteness, but there's no fluffiness in there. It's all raw. It's all feeling, and it has intention in there. It's not like your typical feel good drama. It's not that at all. It's
Mm-hmm.
a drama where you're learning, and it makes you realize it's a very realistic idea of how the world is right now. Um, with the drama itself, I would say it reached my expectations in that it's pure in that it has like there's no beating around the bush, there's no making it beautiful and colorful. It's a dark BL in that even though the drama itself is fiction, but everything that happens is not fictional, it's real life. For that reason I feel like because of it that made the drama even more relatable because it sticks to the real world problems and it highlights a lot of issues. It's so well produced that it's set a bar for itself all by itself. I would say in that sense, yeah. I'm not sure what else I could add to that, but yeah, that's my feeling towards it as of this moment. Yeah.
Okay, I also
What about
agree, and I felt like he was very, yeah, like you said, very human, very real, and gritty, and he went through like the not so pretty side of humankind in general. It
mm,
was basically a series that showed that love could be real, but there was also pain in that realness. And it just showed like how people make mistakes, don't fulfill promises they make, or how they try to make their best in fulfilling those promises and following through with like the good side of things, I guess, and how easy it is for them to fall on the dark side of things as well, and how people are tempted with like the prospect of a better life at the expense of other people's lives. And it
Yeah.
talked about discrimination, obviously, considering that Thailand is a homogeneous society, mainly focusing on classes as opposed to race, but it did that so brilliantly. He talked about unity across like across the population, different people from different backgrounds, how they came all together through a common cause. It was just, yeah, it was just brilliantly done. And I guess Bad Buddy did start that thing from, considering most recent GMMTV dramas, the thing that it didn't feel like a BL drama, it was just a drama that happened to have a BL relationship in it. And I
Yeah.
guess this one went even further ahead because he approached a lot of gender equality, sexual equality issues, obviously discrimination side as well. So I think he went even further than Bed Buddies, obviously, because this storyline also allowed for it to happen as opposed to how the Bed Buddy plot went. But because obviously Bed Buddy was much focused on that, on the two families and the people that were involved with them, while Not Me was more of in a societal basis kind of thing. So we got to see more that side of like the struggle for LGBTQ rights to be recognized, the struggle for people from lower classes to be recognized, to be given worth, or how they go about living in this in such harsh reality and in unequal reality as well. So I think in overall it went even further than that. And yeah, I don't even want to call it a BL. It was just a great drama that happened to have men who like each other, basically.
Mm. I agree. I agree.
And obviously, Pinucci said that she based a lot of the plot and like the way that the direction of things in real life events. Even though I love that they still have those that message at the beginning saying events and characters. It's all for, you know, like the disclaimer thing at the beginning. And I'm like, the director already said that
It's
she used inspiration from real life
yeah.
events. And I saw more recently, you know, that part at the end where they were released into the crowd. I saw a few tweets
Yeah.
saying that that part specifically as well was taken almost exactly from a real life event. And by the Twitter, it seems like the people weren't rescued as well as the drama did happen. But another thing that I liked about it, it was how, I guess I can talk about it more a bit later on, but how, like you said, it was a very good representation of today's society, not just Thailand society, but anywhere else in the world
Exactly.
probably. There wasn't a clear cut between good and evil. There wasn't a clear cut
Exactly.
between right and wrong, but everything was, there were goods in the, like Black and their friends and everyone else in the gang. They weren't necessarily always good because they did bad things at points and illegal things as well. But the bad side also, there were people that kind of support them, and it was very human and very real. What about characters? What did you think of them?
For me, character wise, I think they've done Pinucci done an amazing, amazing, amazing job on that part. In terms of casting the characters, like Gun of like you couldn't have done it any better than that. And Gun being able to portray not just one character but two characters of
Hmm.
being the complete same person. On that part, they made a great choice in choosing Gun to play black and white. Playing both of the characters, and you can see a stark contrast between them. Like you can tell them apart. The one's quite more honest, brash, and I would say keeps his words and his emotions to himself,
Yes.
but just it doesn't mean he's not someone who won't express it. And White knows how to express himself. He's far more expressive than his brother, and he's a pure person, and he's very intelligent. He's got his head screwed on, and he thinks about things completely different to like the contrast between the two. You can see how well it's been done. So for that, done an amazing job. Even the supporting characters, they've done a great job. They had their own storyline arcs. So everyone had a bit more of a story behind them. I do wish they would have kind of gone more into Gumpa, his character,
Hmm.
as I feel like only one who probably even Graham as well. He didn't have too much of a story, well, at least in terms of a past story anyway. Whereas I felt like everyone else had maybe had something going on. In terms of character development, again, amazing job on that part as well, where they've gone from a nice steady pace in character development So it's not just, them having this thought like, I'm against these people and I'm against this one and I want to do this and this and this. But it's gone from feeling that way to, okay, now that I've had a different perspective, I can change my thought. So that kind of development has changed and gone through the characters. Like you, Nilza.
Yes, I agree as well. The cost, literally, I actually just saw earlier a TikTok. You know, the trendy sound at the moment is like the person that they did no shortcuts, like they got the best people for the job, basically. And someone used it for
Absolutely.
the Pinocchio, you casting the actors for this drama. Literally, she did not take shortcuts. She did not think of like halfways. She went through. She was diligent, and she got exactly those that we needed for the part. And to be honest, both her and Gunn, because obviously Gunn is a more experienced and more seasoned, let's say, not experienced yet, more seasoned actor than Off. But both Pinocchio and Gunn, they managed to get Off to like, obviously, he probably also worked hard in improving his acting skills, but they got a lot of the actual eye, the expressions, and those little characters detail when they're acting out of him very well. Like this is the best we've seen him so far. I don't think there's anyone that
Yeah.
can disagree to that. And the detail overall, like you said, it was very well done. Someone said on Twitter, I don't know how true is that, and I think I would have to go back and check and probably ask Angel to translate. But someone said that York had a Chinese character tattoo, like the word "mum" in it. Like you said, everyone had the characters were built so well, and York's selling point for me is how much he does everything for his mom and how much he and that's mainly the reason why he started. Obviously he knows that Taoi's injustice affects everyone, but his mom is the reason he joined the gang and probably started going ahead with trying to take over like the power of Taoi. So I feel like the way it was all set up was all beautifully done. And actually my favorite character is not even a gang member. Oh my god, that sounds so bad when you say that. Yeah, my favorite character was actually Nut, the girl from the university, the one that kind of led the protests and the outdoor moments that we had. The lady with the
Spray paint.
yes, the Graham and Black, I guess, schoolmate from uni. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was probably my favorite character. She's probably in a position different to all of them. We don't know much about her social background or anything, but she always brings off like a different perspective whenever they're talking and whenever she was like on screen. And
Yeah.
we could assume that she probably is like a middle class person, but because most times her perspective matched more with like those in power or the highest status. Like for instance, she always went against Graham whenever he would say that the law isn't perfect and things like that. She would bring reason to his perspective as well as Black's one or White pretending to be Black. But her being a queer woman would she that means that she will still face injustice. So obviously it's not like she wasn't unaware of things.
Yeah.
She was able to help from the sidelines in most cases, even without being part of the gang. She helped to gather the crowds. Obviously their actions and Onar's actions as well with the painting and things like that got people's attention, but she was the one that actually organized, that reached out to the LGBTQ plus groups to organize those protests and things like that, which is what actually got the most news coverage, because obviously everyone was talking about the results of the gang's actions as well as the owners like paintings and things like that. But what got TV involved and what got the bigger coverage and was actually getting Tawi stressed, the way the protests were organized, because it wasn't just like a few people coming in and out. There was a system, and she was helping. She was like kind of one of the lead person in that sense. So I think that her part was also big, and she did all of that without resulting to any illegal activities, which is not clearly or completely opposite to what the gang did. But I'm not saying also that the gang's actions weren't needed, because in those social movements, I think we always need those two sides, like people that can do go underground and do attack those in power, like in the same way they've been using dirty tricks and stuff on normal people. But we also need those that stay on the law side and make things publicly.
Yeah, that was going to say, you literally hit the comment on the head with the whole power struggle. I was thinking the same thought actually. where Todd kind of says he has money and he has power, and he said people with money and power are the ones who can make changes in
Exactly.
society. It was more of a case of, yes, I may have money, but I don't have the power. But I can use my power through social media or through reaching out to teenagers who are, or adults as well, through using art and using the social platform to reach out that way, rather than thinking, I have to be in a higher position than what I am now in order for people to hear what I have to say.
Exactly.
Rather than feeling oppressed by society, let make ourselves in a position where we have a voice. You know, it's not just you can say whatever you want and oppress us for it. We have our opinions and we are human and we're allowed to express it as we wish. And so for her, that I think that speaks a lot of volumes. So you kind of, so with your comment, yeah, it really hit the nail on the head on that one.
Exactly. So that's why I think, even though she wasn't part of the gang, I think her actions had as big of an impact as the gang did. Obviously, it was like a complementary to each other. Like what she told Graham, at the end of the day, the law is just a law. It's only the gate to justice, but the law itself isn't justice, which means that the law is usually done by people with different purposes and for different purposes than those that are usually affected by it. So it won't
Mm,
always serve the purpose of everyone. Actually, we also saw an evolution in their thought process, like you said, when White pretending to be black came in, he also had similar thoughts to her, because obviously he was in a different position to the gang, while the gang was in a more like angry and kind of like a caged mouse or caged dog kind of position, that they're just going against everyone and everything, regardless of the consequences that they might have on others. They are not directly involved, but
yeah,
both Noach and White, pretending to be black, obviously also had a different perspective. So that's why I think both their roles in itself were important. The underground people doing everything like in the hidden, and which also brought big consequences to Tawi and those in power, but also her public, more open ones, which got everyone outside involved. And just thinking, if you have a family and you want to join the cause, if joining the cause means you'll be doing illegal things, you wouldn't be as inclined to go and support the cause. Obviously, if it's like a situation of life and death, you might do it, but not everyone would be able to do that.
no,
So her side of things gave others that probably wouldn't be as keen into what the gang was doing to be involved in the fight for justice. So yeah, that's why I think she's my favorite character. I had a few thoughts on Pinocchio. Yes, like I'm really happy she was allowed to do what she wanted with this show, and I'm pretty sure GMMTV just gave her like free reins, because it was all just, obviously Off is also a great director, the one from Bad Buddies, but the way Pinocchio does things is just, it's a different touch. Like the dramatic scenes weren't overly acted or exaggerated to pass the message. You remember
agree.
even on an episode 13, the guy, the uncle that threatens Dan. Is it the guy
Yeah,
that threatens? Yeah, I literally I couldn't watch it the first time. I had to I had to let it digest. Once I knew that he was going to betray them, I had to just take a seat back, and then I watched it.
even for me, I had to take some time before I could like
Mm,
play the rest of the episode because it was just it was a lot. It was a lot. It was
yeah.
definitely intense.
Exactly. And like that scene, for instance, there weren't any like grand gesture or exaggerated, because usually in dramas, whenever like the bad guys are doing something, they're always over dramatic about everything. But
Oh yes,
and I like the way they did it, because obviously if you are in power and if you feel that you are superior and you are in control of everything, you don't have to show it. Only people that are insecure about their stance show, like, go all over the place. So the way that uncle acted, like there was no big gestures. He was just like saying, because he knew he's confident in where he is against, where he stands against Dan. So there was no need for him to be aggressive or try to force him to do stuff. Just him telling him, and obviously he also probably knows the character that is Dan, knows that he would, if his family or others that he likes are in danger, he would try his best to protect them.
of
So
course, yeah.
that's why I also think there wasn't necessary to make it even more grandiose than it was already. And to be honest, I'm pretty sure also that I know a lot of people still haven't forgiven him, but him surrendering probably ensured that no one else got hurt, both from his family side and the gang side. Because let's think about it: if he didn't betray them and try to fight against the men, he would end up dead, and the gang would still be discovered, and no one would they wouldn't even know that the police and the people were coming. Or he could not be able to stop them, and even if he doesn't get killed, when those bad guys appear and ambush the gang, like it would be a more harsher fight, and someone would have gotten worse, as in hurt twice.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So I think then surrounding and making himself being on the police side, on the bad guy side, made things less bloody, I think. And the fact that just thinking about the ending, how Tawid, we saw on the news that his crimes were being discovered and stuff, but we didn't get to see him paying for his mistakes, not mistakes, for his wrongdoings. But again,
Yeah.
that's just part of life because people in power, they always manage to sneak themselves out. If you have money in most societies, you can get away with a lot. So it just puts emphasis on that who is superior in society because that's important. And it was highlighted as well across the entire show from the beginning by Todd, ever since, especially ever since Black woke up and his conversations with Black, Todd and Black, that is, he was always talking about emphasizing how like those who are in power have the upper hand against those who are not and things like that, and those kind of things you can't just change from one day to another. So that's why I think the ending was good, because it wasn't, obviously the guys were rescued, even though in real life that could have not been the case, but not everything will be fixed.
Definitely.
So Pinochet did portray like humanity at its best and worst. Like kind of like a message saying there's injustice all around us. And even if we all live in the same place, that doesn't mean that our realities are the same. That way, like we can see that white, as pretending to be black, kind of opened his eyes for what a reality that he wasn't used to, because obviously those things weren't part of his day-to-day life, so he wasn't being affected by them. By getting to know the gang and getting to know their stories and things like that, he opened his eyes, not just him but also notes from the university, and thanks to that they made the gangs see the other side of things as well. So
Mm.
that's why I think this was all just great. Yeah, we know that things won't change drastically. Oh my god, I can't talk. Yeah, we know that things won't change drastically just because of their actions, but it was a step. Even Dan's one, obviously he betrayed them, but him betraying them probably saved a few lives, which we can't justify him or demand him to give up those lives just because we think that's what's right, because we don't know what we would do in his situation either.
No, that's true.
But even though he betrayed them, in the end, he still gave like other strength to lead, to join the revolution, per se, and fight against the superior, even as Unar or even through the police. And in the end, it kind of, yeah, benefited everyone. So yeah, like they said on the hashtags at the end, not you, not me, but everyone. So,
Yeah.
and what do you think? Will there be a season two?
Oh, good question. Considering the ending was good in that most of it was tied up, so I feel like there could be a reason, there could be room for a season two. But do I feel like there could be one? For me and my thought, I feel like I want to say no, just because it left on a good note.
I mean, if we think about the couples, for instance, so white and black, they reunited, they have a better understanding of each other, they got reconnected, and black is just, he's more of a, like a solo man, and but that doesn't mean he doesn't have feelings, and that doesn't mean that he doesn't like to work with the groups, but I feel like he just prefers to be alone, and I feel like that's also why he left Eugene, because even though he liked her and everything, he just prefers to be alone, I think. At least now, even though he's not technically back with the gang, it's not like he's completely isolated himself from them. I mean, we saw him going back to talk to his brother, and I'm sure he'll come back to Kumpa and whatnot. Black and Todd, it was literally like the karma. We started with Black being in coma thanks to Todd, and now we ended with Todd in coma thanks to Black. Grammy Eugene, obviously they had a happy ending together. White and Sean also happy ending. York and Don, I know a lot of people don't want them together. I know, thinking of what we know of York as a character, we know he would forgive Dan, because we know he understands why Dan did it. Because let's reverse roles. If York was the police with his mom and considering his situation, his mom's situation. I'm pretty sure he could probably also turn into someone like Unar, doing like those protest paintings undercover or something like that. So let's imagine that Dan was the one that was part of the gang, and when push comes to shove, York's mom was threatened. I'm pretty sure he would have done the same thing that Dan did.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I think
Mhm.
that's why he forgave him. I wasn't expecting to see him being forgiven that quick, so that's why I thought it would be left in like a more open ended ending. But I guess they got together. I mean, that punch maybe for York, maybe that may be enough. So yeah, I agree. The only thing I could see that would give us season two, maybe like you said, Gompa's story. We don't know much about him, and maybe they could do, like what they did with Our Sky, those short episodes covering a few parts. They could do
Oh
something
yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah, like that. Yeah, yeah.
But and to be honest, it's been a while since GMMTV has done a season two for anything. What was the last one? Was it not Sotus?
Uh, I don't know because it's been that long. So
Mm, let's
I
see,
actually,
GMMTV dramas. I'm just googling GMMTV BLs because I can't think of anything with season two other than Sotus. From Puppy Honey also had season two. Yeah, Puppy Honey, Kiss Me Again had a season two. Friend Zone also had a season two. Together, I wouldn't count it as season three is more special because it's only 5 episodes still together, isn't it?
yeah,
So the most recent one is Friend Zone, and before that it was Dark Kiss Me Again, Kiss Me Again twice, and then Dark Book Kiss, which continued the story. But yeah, so maybe they could do a special episode, kind of like what they did for Theory of Love.
they could do that. Yes, like a short spin-off
Mm.
of an episode of a few episodes. Yeah,
Yeah, that's all I see it. If not, something like Our Sky, where it's like 3 or 5 episodes where they cover each couple or something like that. But yeah, I would love to know more about Compass. Like we don't know anything about how he started again. We obviously something must have happened, but we know nothing about it.
exactly. And I think there are a few other parts aside from his own backstory. There are parts where he was saying like, "Oh, I knew Black had a twin. How
Mhm.
did he know exactly? What gave it away for him?"
To be honest, no, actually, to be honest, let's be honest. I feel like only Dan and Compa had brains because, like, you would see even Sean noticed differences between, like, in him.
Mm,
Why wouldn't he look into it?
mm.
And to be honest, I would love to see more of Daniel. But we'll see. And I think like we can leave it at that. Anything else? I think we can go on to our next corner.
Yes.
BLs in your area. So what is on your radar, Emma? What are you watching now? What are you looking forward to?
Oh, so the things that I'm watching right now, it's a lot. Probably not as much as you, Nilza, but definitely
Mm-hmm.
for me, I would say at this very point in time, this is probably the most I've watched. So at the moment, I'm watching You Are My Sky. I'm also watching Cutie Pie. I'm watching Love Stage, which I started very recently. I'm
Mm-hmm.
also watching Cupid's Last Wish. I'm also watching A Boarding House. I don't think I've finished that, so I need to go over and watch that again.
Mm-hmm.
Also watching Enchanté, Cherry Blossom After Winter. I'm also watching The Tuxedo. I have not watched La Cuisine yet, which I know you recommended that to me. That's on
Mm-hmm.
my next list. But yeah, I'll be watching that one as well.
Yeah, it's a light-hearted one, but better than Secret Crush on You. Don't Let's not watch Secret Crush on You again, please.
Let's not mention that one. But yeah, that's what I'm watching so far. In terms of what I am looking forward to, I feel like we've mentioned this a few times already, and that's Kin Posh. I think it will be similar to Not Me in that it's not a typical. It's not going to be a typical BL. It's not going to be fluffy, and it's not going to be cutesy. It'll have some cuteness, but I think it'll be very condensed down. It's going to be a lot more darker, sensual, sexy, alluringly sexy. That I
Mm,
feel be going to
okay.
be a whole lot of more adjectives that I can think of that I can't think of. But yeah, that's definitely what I'm looking forward to. What about you, Nelsa?
Okay, so currently Korean wise, I'm currently only watching Cherry Blossoms After Winter as well. After the other ones we were watching ended, there's no Chinese in or Taiwanese in pipeline. I don't know if anything's coming new, but yeah, there's nothing in my pipeline for it. Thai, obviously, there's lots. So You're My Sky will be ending this week. So, but still watching that. Cutie Pie, obviously. Enchante also like you. Physical Therapy, Our Day, Something in My Room. Love Stage, like you as well. Restarted. I'm also watching My Ride and The Tuxedo, which you also started, and it's great. I'm loving it. What I'm looking forward to. So, like, unlike you and apparently lots of other people, I haven't watched
Yes.
Cupid's Last Witch yet, so I'm waiting for it. I'm going through. I will go through the struggle of this Friday when it starts. I'm still confused about the storyline, but yeah, I'll wait for the YouTube and watch it every Friday, I guess, for my stress. I'm also obviously looking forward to Kim Porsche, like everyone else. Like the world's going to stop when that comes. I'm also looking forward to check out the series. It's going to come in June. Well, there's a preview episode at the moment on their official YouTube channel, and the ones I mentioned before, I think I Love Mechanics, My Only 12% with Earth, Dear Doctor, and one that just came recently. I guess it was confirmed recently, like the one that you shared, Emma,
Hmm.
with Vix Leo, our one and only Jung Tae Kwon. Happy ending outside the fence. I know nothing of the storyline. There might be a webtoon. I'll look into it. If there is, I'll probably start reading it. But yeah, that's about it. And I think we are looking forward to a lot. Oh, so
Indeed.
yes. So thank you so much for tuning in to our today's episode. I know it's been a while since we last posted. We've been busy and then sick and then busy again. But yeah,
Yep.
please let us know what you thought of the dramas we mentioned on socials. Do follow us on BL Talk on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and on YouTube also. You can email us your unpopular opinions, questions, suggestions to honestbltalk@gmail.com. And we shall see you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.